Welcome back from break, everyone. I hope you had the opportunity to go out, grab a cup of coffee and a bagel, and get yourself all settled. Hopefully, you also got a chance to meet and mingle just a little bit during our 15-minute break. So welcome back, and we're going to go ahead and get started now. Now remember, before break, we were talking about 3 styles of communication. So let's recap what those styles of communication were. So the first one was passive communication. The second one was assertive communication, and the third one was aggressive communication. So just to recap what we talked about before break, we talked about how passive communicators don't always stand up for their rights, right? So they don't always speak up when they need to speak up, and then they feel bad about it later. And then they'll say things like, well, I never get to say what's on my mind. Nobody ever listens to me. And then they just kind of make themselves a little bit of a communication victim, right? And then we have those people who are on the aggressive side, and those are the people who don't respect the rights of other people. They just bulldoze right over top of you. They talk over top of you. They interrupt you. Those are the people that we call aggressive communicators. But right in the middle, right smack in the middle, is something we called assertive communication. Now, assertive communicators are awesome because what assertive communicators do is they speak up for themselves when they need to, but they also are mindful so that they don't walk over top of other people. So they're right in the middle. They know when they need to step up and speak out, and they also know when they need to take a step back and just listen. And that's one of the important communication skills that you can also do is listen, right? So this kind of ties into the one thing that we talked about before break that you could do to become a much better communicator, and that is the skill of listening. You see, Dr. Stephen Covey used to say, seek first to understand and then be understood. And when he said that, what he meant was, you don't just listen to hear what someone is saying, right? You need to listen with the intent to understand the message behind what they're saying. My daughter Madeline came home from school one day. She had fallen down on the playground and she had scraped up her knee over her shoelace that was untied. She was telling me about the story when she came home. Mommy, I fell down on the playground today. My shoe was untied and Brett helped me up. And Mommy, he's the greatest guy in the world and I want to marry him. So when Madeline told me the story, I stopped what I was doing. I paid attention to her. I kissed her knee, gave her a big old hug. And when I thought she was finished, I sat her down at the table to start her homework and I gave her some cookies and milk. I thought I was being a great mom, right? Giving her cookies and milk right after school, that was being great. However, Madeline was not quite done with her story yet. And so Madeline continued to talk, and I continued to listen, or at least what I thought was listening. I was busy on a project that day. I had a needs analysis that was due by 5 p.m., and it was now 4 p.m., and I needed to get that needs analysis done. So as Madeline finished with her story and told me a little bit more about her story and how she felt when she fell down on the playground and that one of the kids laughed at her, I continued typing. And Madeline's going, Mommy, you're not listening to me. You're not listening. I said, honey, I am listening. I promise you I'm listening. I heard every single word you said. Then I repeated back to her verbatim exactly what she had said. You fell down on the playground because your shoe was untied. Brett helped you up. He got you a Band-Aid from inside and put it across your boo-boo. And now you think he's the greatest guy in the world and you want to marry him. See, Mommy heard everything you said. Madeline was not finished. She walked over. She put her hand on this side of my cheek. She put the other hand on this side of my cheek. And she turned my face toward her. She said, Mommy, listen to me with your eyes. You don't listen very well with your eyes. What was Madeline trying to tell me that day? What exactly was she trying to tell me? Was she trying to tell me I didn't hear her? Because I heard her. I could repeat back everything she said. No, what Madeline was trying to tell me that day was, you might have heard me, Mommy, but I don't feel understood. And aren't people strange creatures because we all want to be understood? So it made me think for a moment, how many of us are like that? We're working with a project manager or a team leader, and they come in, they knock, 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 hey, have you got a minute? And we say, sure, come on in. But we never even bother to look up and give them eye contact. Eye contact is one of those assertive communication skills that you can give other people in that moment so that they feel more connected to you and so that they feel understood. And that is so important in communication skills. How many of you are leaders? And I want you to just think about this. You don't even have to raise your hand. I want you to just think about this. How many of you have ever had someone come to you and ask you, do you have a minute? But you never even bothered to look up and make eye contact. I think at some point we're all probably guilty of that. But now that you know, you can bring it into your awareness so that you can become a better communicator. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about that exercise that we did before lunch with your listening skills, where you were listening to that partner. How many of those things did you pick up in that exercise? So remember, if you want to be a better communicator, I want you to take away and go ahead and jot down 3 things that you can do now to become a much better assertive communicator. Let's take 5 minutes and jot those items down. And remember to listen with your eyes.